morning to all our viewers this morning. Welcome to World is One News and WION Wallet. I'm Chaiti Narula. Good time now for us to take a look at the top headlines that we're tracking at this hour. A day after Cyrus Mistry resigned from Tata Group listed companies, Tata Sons hit back, says Mistry's resignation a deliberate strategy. Luxury car makers bear the brunt of demonetisation. Sales nosedive as high-end luxury goods face cash crunch. And Dalal Street opens flat, but Wall Street extends a rally 1% short of 20,000 mark, and we're talking about Dow Jones. Abu Dhabi-based carrier Etihad Airways to cut jobs to reduce costs. The cutback to range from 1,000 to 3,000 jobs. And the top story that we're tracking in this hour, Etihad Airways will eliminate jobs across several units. The development highlights the pressure on the carriers in the Persian Gulf to adapt to slowing growth. The Abu Dhabi-based company is undertaking organizational reviews and restructuring to reduce cost and improve the productivity and revenue. This will result in a measured reduction of headcount in some parts of the business amid an increasingly competitive landscape and a weaker global economy. The cutbacks will range from about 1,000 to as many as 3,000 jobs. Several dozen people have already left the information technology department, and reductions are also planned in the human resources and commercial sales units. Cuts will also involve cabin crew and ground staff as well. Etihad is changing course with the job cuts. The company almost tripled its staff to 20,292 in the past 8 years as its fleet expanded to 122 aircrafts from 42 aircrafts. Now hit by the economic fallout of lower oil prices, Gulf airlines are facing slower growth and need to adjust after years of expansion. Emirates Group reported a 64% uptick in the first half profit, while Qatar Airways said that the demands from the oil and gas industry was softening during the drop in crude prices. And the big story that's been making headlines from India incorporated the Ratan Tata and Cyrus Mistry row. Now, shortly after Cyrus Mistry resigned from the board of directors of Tata's 6 listed companies yesterday, including Tata Motors and Indian Hotels, the Tata Sons released a statement terming his resignation as a deliberate strategy. Tata Sons ousted chairman Cyrus Mistry has resigned from directorship of Tata Group listed companies on Monday. In a statement released earlier yesterday, Mistry claimed that he aimed at reforming the system. We're now joined by Chief Business Correspondent Sumit Chaturvedi for more on this. Good morning, Sumit. Yesterday, of course, in the evening, the news came out that he has resigned, really, from all Tata Group companies. Does that mean there is some solution to the Tata Mistry row now? I mean, some analysts are predicting that the war has just only begun with his resignation from all the listed companies of the group. What is your sense, and what are you making up? What are you picking up from sources as we speak?
Well, it is the war. The whole battle is now moving towards its logical conclusion, as Cyrus Mistry has threatened Mr. Tata with taking the whole matter to the courts now. So it is finally moving to courts, which will now decide which way the whole situation will go. Earlier, it was being, one way or the other. Sometimes Cyrus Mistry was saying something, sometimes Tata Mistry was saying something, but it had no logical conclusion, or there was no concrete thing on the ground. Now it looks like when both parties go to court, court will take cognizance of the matter, we'll look at the credit and merits of the case, and then we'll decide. So clearly it's moving towards its logical conclusion, as yesterday Cyrus Mistry threatened that it will take the battle to courts now.
So Cyrus Mistry has also, Sumit, broken his silence on this particular issue. Let's hear into Cyrus Mistry, but you hang on there, stay with us. We have to discuss more about this issue with you, but let's listen in to what Mistry really had to say yesterday.
It has now been 8 weeks, waiting for concrete reasons to be provided by Mr. Ratan Tata for the illegal coup he staged on the 24th of October. Nothing cogent has been forthcoming. Having reflected deeply, I think it is time to shift gears, up the momentum, and be more incisive in securing the best interests of the Tata Group. In order to be more effective, serve the objective of governance reform, and to regain lost ethical ground.
While he's breaking his silence after a very long while, in his own admission, it's been 8 weeks since he hasn't really spoken, and has all of this really begun now. Sumit Chaturvedi standing live, of course, our chief business correspondent, to give us an update on that. Now, Sumit, we're going to continue with you. What is the likely way forward for both Tatas and Mistrys? And, you know, I'm just going to add to that, a lot of people feel that a legal battle earlier they felt was inevitable, but then lawyers went on to say that Cyrus Mistry does not really have a case because, you know, this is a private limited company, and whatever that happens within a private limited company is a decision of the board of directors, and the law really does not interfere in this. What is your sense? Is there going to be a legal tussle between the Tatas and the Mistrys, and what are you pegging in terms of what will happen next as a series of events unfolds now?
Well, Jyoti, the whole thing will become murkier and murkier now, because when they go to court, they have to produce every evidence. This means that all files will be brought to court now. Now, everything will have a proof. So far, there were only some party saying something, the other party replying to it, or other party saying something, and one party replying to it. Now, everything will be produced in courts. So, the skeletons could be out of the closet now. As far as AirAsia deal, India deal is concerned, the other deals, Shiv Sankaran's money, everything will be brought to court now. You know, now so far they were washing dirty linen only in public. Now everything will come to court, and that too with proof. So going forward, we expect the battle to become much murkier. But yes, there will be a solution, because courts will take the cognizance of the issue and will pass some orders which will be in favor of shareholders as well as in favor of the company.
Thanks, Sumit, for those updates. Keep your ear to the ground, and we will track the Tata Mistry row as we have been tracking over the past 8 weeks as well. Now, moving on, Etihad Airways will eliminate jobs across several units. The development highlights the pressure on carriers in the Persian Gulf to adapt to slowing growth. The Abu Dhabi-based company is undertaking organizational reviews and restructuring to reduce costs and to improve productivity and revenue. This will result in a measured reduction of headcount. In some parts of the business, amid an increasingly competitive landscape and a weaker global economy, the cutbacks will range from about 1,000 to as many as 3,000 jobs as well. Several dozen people have already left the information technology department, and reductions are also planned in the human resources and commercial sales units. Cuts will also involve cabin crew as well as the ground staff. Etihad is changing course with the job cuts now. The company almost tripled its staff to 20,292 people in the past 8 years as its fleet expanded to 122 aircrafts from 42 aircrafts. Hit by the economic fallout of lower oil prices, Gulf Airlines are facing slower growth and need to readjust after years of expansion. Emirates Group reported a 64% plunge in the first half profit, while Qatar Airways said the demand from the oil and gas industry was softening during the drop in crude prices. And France's top court has found International Monetary Fund chief Christine Lagarde guilty of negligence over the misuse of public minister while serving as a cabinet minister under former Prime Minister Nicolas Sarkozy, but has avoided the jail sentence. Earlier, the French court had convicted Lagarde under the charges of approving a massive payout of taxpayers' money to French business tycoon Bernard Tapie. Despite finding guilty, the court did not give any sentence to Lagarde, citing her reputation and her ability to lead IMF amidst the emerging financial crisis. However, Lagarde has denied all the charges. And Barclays is preparing to tell 7,000 clients to do more trading with the firm or find another bank. Now, this is the latest move in an industry-wide trend of pruning down customer lists to the ones that reduce and produce significant profits. The British bank launched a new computer system called Flight Deck this month that ranks every customer of its trading unit by the return that they generate from the firm's capital. This allows Barclays to prioritize its most lucrative relationships and also those that have become a drag as well. Since the year 2014, the bank has culled 17,000 clients together, and the many smaller firms have also been seen to be less profitable as well. Global investment banks have been cutting ties with smaller clients and scrambling to recapture greater share of business from the world's elite fund managers as new rules led the industry to rethink its traditional focus on their top lines. And Mongolia will seek approval from the Import-Export Bank of India to build an oil refinery and pipelines with $1 billion in infrastructure funding negotiated last year. The project that could boost the nation's gross domestic product or GDP by 10%. The government intends to use $700 million of the loan for an oil refinery and say $264 million for oil pipelines as well. Prime Minister Narendra Modi signed agreements last year to provide the $1 billion credit line to fund railroad and infrastructure projects in Mongolia. Mongolia is looking to India and other investment partners as its economic contracts and its debt burden grows. The refinery, to be sited in Saint-Shan County, will have a capacity to process 1.5 million metric tons of oil per year. Take a quick break right here on WION Wallet. More news and updates, and of course a global markets check with our markets analyst Jagdish Thakkar follows on the other side of WION Wallet. Stay tuned to us. Thank you so much for staying with us right here on WION Wallet, and welcome back. It's time now for us to do a check of how global markets are reacting at this point of time. Now, Asian shares were a mixed bag this morning. The Bank of Japan monetary policy review is awaited, and the decision is likely to come out anytime today, and that is something that would end up impacting the Asian markets going forward as well. The Wall Street, an important really indices in focus today, it did extend a rally last night. The Dow ended at 19,883 mark, which is a percent really short of the 20,000 mark really. The S&P ended at 2,263 mark, and the Nasdaq wound up at 5,457 marker. The S&P Tech Index rose about 0.61%. The Indian markets, of course, let's take a look at how they're trading right now as we speak. They started off on a flat note this morning, and the rupee opened higher at 67.86 to the dollar as well. And as we speak, they are trading quite flat but showing a fair bit of an uptick going forward. The Sensex is up 0.10% as we speak, trading at 26,401.54. Marker, and the Nifty is up 0.07% in trade today, holding fort and flirting around the 8,100 levels. That's really a level where the Nifty is finding support today in trade. And as far as the market movers are concerned, we've got City Cable, Kushal Trade, Reliance and Eicher Motors, of which the two that I mentioned earlier are the gainers, and Reliance and Eicher Motors are the losers in trade today. As far as the Indian commodities are concerned, gold is up 0.35% as we speak, trading at 27,260 levels, and crude is up almost over 0.5%, trading at 3,618 levels as well. The currencies, I mean, the India opened quite higher this morning, but we are seeing the downtick set in again. As far as the rupee to the dollar equation is concerned, it's trading at 67.82 to the dollar and 84.08 really to the pound as well. We're now joined by our markets analyst Jagdish Thakkar to give us a sense of the US markets to begin with. Good morning, Mr. Thakkar, and thank you so much for joining us on WION Wallet. Let's start off with the Dow Jones, really 1% short of hitting the 20,000 mark. What's your sense? How long before it comes to a record high of 20,000 there on the Dow Jones?
Since last few trading sessions, the Dow Jones has been hitting all the time the new height, and it virtually crossed, you can say, the lifetime high of 20,000. And it appears that the way the U.S. economy is getting stronger, if you even look at the statement by the Janet Yellen, who is the Federal Reserve chairperson, she said that the economy is going strong, the unemployment rate is getting reduced. Even you look at the dollar index, which is also going stronger almost every day, it appears that there is not going to be any immediate end of its rise. At least it can even go and touch up to 20,500, even 21,000 also, maybe in a month or so.
Right. And what about, you mentioned the dollar index as well. Are you going to be seeing some fair bit of strengthening going forward? And what about the crude as well? What is your sense after the OPEC had a cut? Where do you see the Brent crude levels really settling at?
Dollar index is getting stronger, but one thing which is going to be little positive for us, perhaps, as in the past also the dollar had a rally against most of the currencies in the world. America is also exporting to a very large extent to other parts of the world. And when the the index is getting stronger, the exporters in USA, they also make UN cry. So at that time also the government had to intervene and had some stimulus package. Hopefully this time also perhaps something will come out. But in the immediate near future perhaps it may go a little more stronger. But we can always expect that dollar getting stronger, the rupee getting weaker. We may touch even 69.50 per dollar, maybe in a month or so. So far as the crude output is concerned, they are going to cut it from 1st of January 2017. The non-OPEC countries have also agreed to cut down on production. And it appears that the price may perhaps rise up to $60 maximum. But ultimately, most of the analysts feel that, though I'm not an expert on the crude oil, but they normally feel that going beyond $60 per barrel, perhaps it would be very difficult for all the OPEC countries to sell, because most countries have started, and especially when North America has started their own production of the crude, which is a shale gas, what they normally call it, and they had shut down their plant because of the very low price of the crude. They may again start the production in North America, and this may perhaps subdue the prices of the crude oil in the future. So maximum up to $60, but rupee getting weaker and the crude prices going higher, and we import more than about 80% of the crude for our requirement. India is going to definitely be a little bit problem so far as the rupee is concerned.
Right. I'm going to come back to India in just about a bit. As far as the US is concerned, now we're seeing a fair bit of buying momentum and a rally set in, whether it is the Dow Jones, whether it's the S&P or the NASDAQ for that matter. And this is actually the Trump effect that we're seeing ever since Trump took over as the president-elect of America. You are seeing the markets really take a spiral uptick. Now, there are some investor and the brokerage reports that have come out that are warning about the uncertainty of Trump's policies as well, and whether they are approved by the Congress pose major risks to the current stock prices in the US. What's your sense of that? Are you in agreement with these particular brokerage reports that I'm talking about, which are really pegging the markets to sort of go through a fair bit of correction after the kind of rally we've seen after the election?
Normally it happens that market, when it touches its peaks or all-time high, there is a cycle of almost 8 years. Normally we consider a cycle of 80 years because it's very interesting even if you look at the Indian market. From 1984, Mrs. Gandhi was assassinated. Rally was there. 1992, Harshad Mehta came exactly 8 years. Again, it rallied. 2000, another market was down because of the Ketan Parekh one. Again, 8 years, 2008. Again, the market rallied, and again because of the subprime crisis, market again went down. We are in 2016. Quite possibly something may or the other may arise. We don't know what can happen. It could be geopolitical reason also, not necessarily the economy. Because the way the Trump has been making statements, perhaps, it may even dismiss China is already on the record that they are not very happy with it. Maybe perhaps the way he made some statements for some other community, that also may trigger something else. So I'm apprehending more of the geopolitical tension than any effect on the economy. And if that happens, I know the stock market is the first one to be affected. But so far as you mentioned about the other people, especially the Congress, the people there also, dollar getting stronger, they are not very happy with it because they are getting less money for the export they make it. And Trump is yet to take his share on 20th of January 2017. And once he sits in the White House and then he looks at the whole world, he may be having a different perspective. So there is nothing much to worry what statements he may be making right now at the time that he sits in the White House.
All right. As far as Asia is concerned, we saw Asia being a mixed bag this morning, really on the back of the fact that Bank of Japan will be having its policy review today, and anytime we're expecting that decision on Bank of Japan as well. Now, the Japanese central bank was expected to hold on to its negative interest rates and 10-year government bond yields target being steady as well. What's your sense on what kind of a monetary policy are they going to come out, and how is it going to be ogling down on the Asian indices in trade?
So far as the Asian markets are concerned, I think the one which is very sensitive, so far as the dollar index is concerned, is Nikkei, because almost 75-80%, maybe even more than that, are being exported by Japan to the various parts of the world, and most of the terms are being signed in dollar terms. So as soon as normally you will find that the whole Asian market may be down and only Nikkei would be up. Only the reason is that yen has become weaker against the dollar. And that time you'll find the Japanese market going up. So far as the Bank of Japan is concerned, they are not going to increase, touch the rate of interest at all. In fact, last time they had a negative rate of interest, 0.03 or something. That means if you want to borrow, you can borrow at zero rate of interest. Even if you borrow, you go minus, that means they will give you incentive if you borrow the money from the bank. So I don't think so there is going to be any change so far as the Bank of Japan policy is concerned. They may make a status quo. Even if they reduce on the minus side, I will not be surprised.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Jagdish Thakkar, for joining us live with a markets wrap. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of WION Wallet at We'll see you at 5:30 p.m. Stay tuned to World is One News. I'm Chaiti Narula signing off.